Community Services Advisory Commission staff report by Michelle. You want to see if Rick is still here? Carry on.
Thank you. Good evening, members of council. Each year, the Community Services Advisory Commission brings forward to council their recommendations of topics or projects they would like to work on during the remainder of the year. Before you this evening are 3 pending assignments that are still in the process of completing, and they're asking to be carried forward, and then 2 new proposed assignments. The 3 pending assignments, the first one is looking at promoting and marketing geocaching sites in the city's parks and open spaces. The second is reviewing best practices and programs from communities that have existing gold and platinum status bicycle-friendly communities. The third is looking at encouraging and increasing use of the city's river corridor, river trails. And then the 2 proposed new assignments, the first is exploring opportunities to bring the Little Free Library concept to city parks and other possible public locations. And then the second one is looking at a civil discourse program that would be focused within the senior program. And this is simply bringing in a speaker and facilitator on a topic and holding a discussion on that topic. Those are the recommended pending assignments and 2 new assignments, and staff is recommending approval of these this evening. If you have any questions, I can answer those.
Yeah, I have a question. I know this committee was going to do or assist you and the staff on the bicycle community, moving that up. And I haven't really heard back from that. We were going to try, we were one of the fortunate few cities in this entire state that had the Bronze Award. Mm-hmm. And I know that we were discussing the possibility of moving that to a Silver Award because of all the improvements being made in the community, and that we might deserve that. And I know this particular group was working on that, or was going to work on that. So, and I know that summertime is sometimes the time when that particular application, I think, is forwarded, right? Sometimes.
I believe there's 2 times a year when we could apply for that, and that is one of the pending assignments for this group, to look at best practices from other communities that have achieved gold and platinum status and bring back to us some recommendations of things that we may be able to implement to.
Do you know when the next cutoff is for that?
No, I do not know, but I can get back to you.
No, I'm very curious, yeah, because I think it's really important. That is a huge feather in the cap of the city of Dublin, if we can achieve that. At that stage, we would be the only city, is that not correct, in the state of Ohio?
That's correct. So far, there's only bronze level within Ohio.
Right. So that'd be a huge honor for the city and a great draw for bringing in young people that are interested in maybe filling out our corporate sector. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Excuse me, I just wanted to add. I just wanted to add with respect to the Little Free Library. I don't know if anyone's aware whether Clintonville has this or not. I noticed something like this in Clintonville recently in a front yard. And having said that, I have to make the Dublinizing comment, so forgive me. The examples that you gave us look great, and I wouldn't mind seeing those in my neighbor's front yard. But I don't know if part of this, I guess, for my 2 cents, I'd like to see some kind of standards, so that, we don't see the cardboard box on a pole, or, the old recycling bin, in the front yard.
Is it in residential areas? I mean,
no, they're in parks.
They're in parks.
But you don't want that
public venues. I mean, you need to have.
Oh, I saw this in a front yard.
Really?
There are some communities that allow it on private property. This is really focused on a pilot project just in our parks, and selecting 2 or 3 parks or neighborhood parks where we would be designing and building, or community members would help build. And
never mind.
Since you're discussing CSAC, the piano is program's ready to be launched, right? Are we?
Excuse me.
The CSAC piano program, is that about ready to be launched?
It is. We have 2 pianos that are close to being finished, and we're looking at places to put those within a couple parks or open spaces.
Okay, thank you.
I move to approve CSAC's recommended goals for them to work on this year.
I'll second it.
Mr. Reiner?
John, vote yes.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson? Mayor Keenan? Vice Mayor Gerber?
Yes.
Ms. Salee?
Yes.
Mr. Lechleiter?
Yes.
And Ms. Janice Zerker?
Yes.
Thank you.
And please,
Thank you,
Michelle,
Michelle.
pass
Okay.
our thanks on to CSAC for coming up with the ideas and their continued service.
I will do that. They've been a great group to work with, really actively engaged, and we've definitely seen the attendance be steady and
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
Very good. Allison?
Good evening, members of council. Each year I come to you and ask for permission to serve alcohol in Kaufman Park during the Dublin Irish Festival. It is our second largest piece of funding after our bed tax money, and we have excellent training programs, and we're hoping you approve tonight.
Very good. Any council discussion on this? Is there a motion to allow alcohol sales for the Irish Festival? So moved. Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Ann?
Ms. Salee?
Yes.
Mayor Keenan?
Yes.
Mr. Reiner?
Yes.
Ms. Janice Zerker?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gerber?
Yes.
Mr. Lechleiter?
Yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Dana, staff comments?
Only one comment because it's not on your calendar, but next Tuesday, May 26, 10 a.m. at the Abbey Theater will be the dedication of the 2 post offices, one in the name of Wesley Davids and the other in the name of Nick Rosansky, both KIA, killed in action. And I think you might know that Congressman T-Berry was sponsoring that, and I just want to make sure you're aware. I got an invitation from his office late this afternoon, and I forwarded out to all of you, so just so you have that on your calendar.
Yeah, I received one as well. I've been asked, I've already RSVP'd it. I think it's Nancy Schaefer in Pat T-Berry's office.
Right.
is
I think
taking
she
the
sent that at
RSVPs.
about 4:15 today, and I forwarded it beginning of the council meeting.
There was some, was there discussion that Portman may be there as well?
I do not know
Yeah.
offhand. We'll get some more information. I spoke to Mark Bell of Congressman T-Berry's office today, and
All
he
right,
said he
good.
would get more information.
Thank you. All right, council committee reports, planning and zoning, Amy? Thank you. Admin,
Nope,
Community development.
caught up.
John,
No,
community
we're
development?
fine. Thank you. I just want to remind everybody to, I'll just throw the DAC comments in that the Eddie Adams,
It opens on
it will be Monday,
Monday.
3 o'clock. It's going to be a fantastic exhibit.
Very good. Marilee Finance?
Yes, the finance, well, it's not the finance committee, but we had a tax incentive review council meeting on May 5th. John and myself attend. He attends as the chair of the Community Development Committee, and I attend as the finance chair. It also includes Chris Brown, who's the vice chair of Planning and Zoning, Franklin County Auditor's Office, Denise King, and Sarah Ott attended. Sorry, I forgot your name. I was pulling a blank here. And representatives from the school district, Colleen attended, and Angel attended. And what the purpose of this committee is to review the TIFs that we have, and also to look at any delinquent taxes that have occurred. And we do have a number of delinquent taxes. I did ask the representatives what happens, because it appeared that the same properties were this year as last year, and nothing has changed, you know. And the people from the tax office, all they could say was that a letter goes out to them from a tax office or something, and they didn't know what else happened. So we really don't have an answer on that. Okay. Yeah, it was, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, public services, Amy?
Yeah, the Public Service Committee will meet a week from tomorrow at 6 o'clock here in council chambers to discuss, interestingly enough, homeowner association maintenance of public land. And I was curious if, Megan, you could tell us when we would be getting the packet for this meeting, and then also what kind of response you're getting from the homeowner associations with regard to your survey that you sent out. Gotcha. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, Amy, when is that meeting scheduled?
It is Tuesday, the
Tuesday.
26th at 6 p.m.
Okay, and John,
John and Tim.
Tuesday, the 26th?
Be there.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Looking forward to it.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Board of Education, Greg?
This month's meeting was postponed for some reason. We have it rescheduled for, I believe, June 17th, right, next month.
That was the other standing date, so they may try to get together prior to that. They were testifying down at the State House, which is why they had to delay. So.
I saw some back and forth on some other issues you may bring forward at that next meeting as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Would it be possible, Dana, to get some summary of what win-win really is, where it came from, and
Yes, can work on
that'd be
that.
great, thank you.
There was a good article in the newspaper just in the last day or two on that as well. Marilee Morpsey?
Yes, Morpsey, we had a commission meeting last Thursday, and David Yost, our state auditor, spoke about Share Ohio, and I think we participate in that in some ways, and he was very encouraging to everyone. He's particularly familiar with the northeast area of the state that has implemented that program, but was assured that we probably, in the central Ohio, probably participate as well, and the risk of loss insurance issue has been resolved by them. So that should not be a hindrance for municipalities or townships, et cetera, to engage in this Share Ohio program. Thank you.
Very good. US 33, Tim?
Nothing that you haven't seen via
The email
email.
on the memorandum of
We
understanding.
have a new meeting place.
Okay. All right, roundtable. Greg?
We had the sanitary sewer water hookup meeting earlier this week or last week. Very well attended. There were a lot of people that were there, and we're talking about it at our council workshop on the 15th of June.
Correct.
That's about it.
Okay. Amy?
Amy doesn't
I
have
think Marilee's going to talk about the Miracle League, so I'll let her
Okay.
do that.
Marilee?
So Saturday, we had a wonderful 10th centennial, I can't even say the word, celebration at the Miracle League, and Fred has put this heavy thing at my desk here. This was presented to Fred as a thank you to the city for their participation, obviously, in support of the Miracle League. Amy was there, and Tim was there, and myself. And it was attended by over 1,100 people. And even in spite of the bad weather on Saturday, never being sure whether it was going to rain or not, and fortunately they had a huge tent out at Darry Fields, and they had a catered lunch. And it's always thrilling to see the children and their families who are just grateful for this opportunity for their kids. 34, I didn't know this, but Joe Fox, who is the director, and only the second director of the league, David Aboud, was the original director, and now Joe does it. He told us that there were 34 children who are still in the program all 10 years. And 17 of them were there that day and were formally recognized and came up on stage. But I think it still is one of the best things this city has ever done. And we continue to, people really continue to come up to us and say thank you. So this I'm going to give back to Fred so that he can put it in a special place. But I'm going to leave it here, Fred, because it's really heavy. Okay? All right. And this couldn't have been done without Fred and his staff and many other people who continue to be actively involved in it. So thank you.
Tim?
Yes, thank you. A couple things. Following up on Marilee's comments regarding the Miracle League, you know, it's always rewarding to visit that facility, whether it's the Centennial or on a Saturday afternoon when they're having their games. But I want to, recognize, Mara Lee, for her leadership. When this was first proposed, I also want to recognize Terry Lydon, for bringing forth the idea, and certainly all of council and their support of the Miracle League, both then and over these past 10 years. But while we were at the event, and as Mara Lee pointed out, this piece here was presented to Fred, and Joe Fox, longtime league director, recognized Fred, for his support of the league. And as I was observing this, I was struck by the fact that all the things that Fred has done, for the city over, I guess, nearly 30 years. This is just one of many. But Mr. Fox was, really wanted to recognize Fred. Said Fred answered every call, whenever they needed help. And, Fred, isn't the kind of individual that normally calls attention to himself, at least not intentionally. But seriously, I just think it's an example of, what an all-star Fred is. So thanks, Fred. Also, yesterday, on behalf of City Council, I attended a celebration of Jim Lanks' longtime service to our community as director of Dublin Youth Athletics. Of course, he was in here either the last meeting or the meeting before. We presented him with a proclamation. Very nice event. Lots of people, including people that he coached, many years ago. A lot of stories of some people that coached with him and so forth. But it was a very nice event. And then finally, tonight, just one of many examples that occur over the course of the year. But I think it's a true measure of the kind of community that we are. But it was this ESGR recognition to the city. Of course, that's the employer support of the Garden Reserve. I think that when the city receives an award like that, that speaks a lot about the kind of community that we are, the kind of administration that we have had over the years, and the type of employees that we have working for us. So anyway, just wanted to call that out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. John?
No, I just want to say that attending the TIF meeting with Marilee, that the analysis is that we're in really good shape all in all, and these have been a very productive part of our city's development and growth. And I want to thank Angel for her on top of it attitude and covering everything that needed to be covered, and we're really in good shape.
Very good.
Thank you.
Rick?
Yeah, just quickly, there's a lot of work going on Dublin Road south in connection with the multi-use path. And Megan, I was wondering at some point if you could kind of give us an update on where they are, because I know that I see them every morning as I pass there, but a lot of residents are asking, so maybe we can have a little update at our next meeting. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
I just have a couple quick items that Marilee and Tim and Rick and myself attended the police memorial service at the Justice Center on May 8th. And it was a very respectful, poignant memorial service. They had bagpipers. They called out the names of everybody on the pillar there where they've recorded all those names. There was a woman, Catherine Clark, whose husband lost his life in the line of duty in Cleveland some 14 years ago, and she's a resident of Dublin now, and that was a very moving story as well. And I know that Mrs. Claypool, who lost her husband, who was a Dublin resident, they were able to talk, and that was her first time she'd ever come out to one of these kind of events, and it was cathartic for her. She told me later she was really glad that she did come out and participate. So, and then Marilee and I both attended the ODOT information session today at Metro at the Crown Plaza in Dublin, and it was very well attended. ODOT put a nice event on. We had Congressman Teaberry, Senator Hughes, Representative Duffy, Morpsey's Bill Murdoch, and we had Farzan Ahmed, who is Deputy Director, as you know, of ODOT, and really did a nice presentation program. We had a lot of support from the surrounding community. I know Mayor Schoenhart was there. We had Terry Emery from Marysville, and it was a nice program. And as I understand it, it probably got some press on television as well. We had a couple, 2, 3 TV stations out there, so I imagine we'll see some links from our information officers tomorrow. With that, we need to go back into executive session. I don't think I really need another motion, do I, Steve, since we've already been in? But we may need, there is a possibility that we may be coming back, reconvening to take other action at that point, depending on how that goes. And so we will not be adjourning right now. We will be going back to executive session.
Regarding what?
We're going in for land acquisition, same as we went in
Same as
before. We
before.
just didn't finish
We
before.
didn't finish before.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's
So
correct.
we don't need a motion or anything. We're just
No,
going back.
we,
Stay tuned. For
Correct.
those of you that haven't had enough, we'll be back. Hey, Sue, can I catch you real quick?